Brain freeze. So you're at the movies and you take a giant sip of your slushy. Feels great until suddenly it feels like Thor just smacked you in the forehead. Almost everyone has experienced that sudden bolt of agony after gulping something cold, which is scientifically called sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. In simple words, you may know it as brain freeze. When something icy touches the palate, the roof of your mouth, it rapidly cools the tiny blood vessels embedded in the tissue. This triggers an automatic response in your body. Let me break it down step by step. The cold hits your palate, vessels rapidly dilate to normalize temperature, and that change triggers the trigeminal nerve. Because this nerve carries sensation from both palate and forehead, the brain mislocalizes the signal and leads to the mouth cooling that feels like a forehead stab. fMRI shows brain freeze shares vascular/neural patterns with migraines, and people prone to it may be more migraine susceptible. The pain is short-lived, usually fading in under a minute. Want to know how to get rid of it? Just press your tongue or even your thumb against the roof of your mouth. This warms the tissue and calms the vascular spasm. In short, brain freeze isn't as dangerous as you think. It's your body's overzealous temperature regulation system, briefly firing off the wrong signals. Pins and needles. That prickling, tingling sensation when your foot falls asleep is known medically as transient paresthesia. It occurs when prolonged pressure on a nerve disrupts normal nerve function. If you sit cross-legged for too long or lean on your arm while sleeping, the weight compresses nerves and restricts blood flow. Without steady oxygen and glucose, the affected nerve fibers struggle to transmit signals properly. As circulation decreases, some nerve impulses get blocked, while others misfire. The result is numbness followed by an odd buzzing or prickling sensation. When you shift position and circulation returns, the nerves suddenly reactivate, but they don't always reboot smoothly. Instead, they create that storm of tingles we interpret as pins and needles. The sensation fades as soon as oxygen and nutrients stabilize. While this everyday version of paresthesia is harmless, persistent or frequent tingling may signal underlying issues. Chronic nerve compression, such as in carpal tunnel syndrome or herniated discs, can produce lasting paresthesia. For healthy individuals, the occasional limb falling asleep is simply a temporary communication glitch between nerves and blood supply. But if tingling lingers or spreads without an obvious cause, it's your body telling you that something is worth looking into. Side stitches. If you've ever jogged and suddenly felt a stabbing pain beneath your ribs, you've met exercise-related transient abdominal pain, or ETAP. Yes, that's the much dreadful stitch. The exact cause of side stitches is still debated. One theory blames the diaphragm irritating the muscle and causing sharp pain. Another points to the parietal peritoneum, the lining of the abdominal cavity, which may be rubbed by repeated torso movement. Shallow or irregular breathing often makes stitches worse. They're more common in younger athletes and in sports like running or swimming. While not dangerous, they can disrupt performance. Prevention strategies include avoiding large meals right before exercise, improving core strength for better torso stability, and synchronized breathing. While still somewhat mysterious, side stitches appear to be the body's protest when breathing mechanics, digestive processes, and physical exertion fall out of sync. A frustrating reminder of your anatomy's limits, right? Phantom pain. Perhaps the strangest pain glitch of all is phantom limb pain, where people who have lost an arm, leg, or even a finger still feel sensations. These include burning, cramping, or stabbing pain in body parts that literally don't exist anymore. For decades, it was considered psychological, but modern neuroscience has revealed a more complex explanation, rooted in how the brain organizes the body. In the brain's somatosensory cortex, every body part has a map. When a limb is amputated, the map remains even though the nerves are gone. Deprived of normal signals, these circuits misfire, creating sensations in a missing limb. Sometimes neighboring brain regions take over the empty space, producing distorted or painful feedback. Phantom limb pain isn't the same for everyone. It might feel like tingling, pressure, or even invisible fingers curling into a fist. It can be triggered by stress, weather changes, or even by touching another part of the body. Treatment is complex, but mirror therapy, certain medications, nerve stimulation, and new virtual reality methods can help. Phantom pain highlights how deeply our sense of body is wired into the brain, even when parts are gone. Raynaud'S phenomenon. On a cold day, most of us feel chilly fingers, but people with Raynaud'S phenomenon experience a far more dramatic response. Their fingers or toes suddenly turn white, then bluish before throbbing painfully as blood flow returns. This is caused when the tiny arteries supplying extremities constrict too much in reaction to cold or stress. Normally, blood vessels tighten in cold weather to preserve heat. In Raynaud's, this reaction goes into overdrive, sharply reducing blood flow to the fingers or toes. The skin turns pale and numb, then flares red and painful as circulation returns. Raynaud's can be primary, which is usually mild, or secondary, which is linked to other conditions and can cause complications like skin ulcers. Most people control it by staying warm, avoiding smoking, caffeine, and stress, or wearing gloves. Severe cases may need medication as well. Although it can look dramatic, Raynaud's is usually not dangerous. It's just a vivid example of the body's defense system working a little too strongly. Hypnic jerks. Imagine you're drifting into sleep after a long day. You feel your muscles relaxing when suddenly your body jerks violently and startles you awake. These involuntary spasms, called hypnic jerks or sleep starts, are one of the most common sleep-related phenomena. While harmless, they can feel dramatic, almost like falling off a tall building. Scientists believe hypnic jerks occur during the transition from wakefulness into non-REM sleep. As muscles relax and breathing slows, the brain may misinterpret this sudden loss of tension as a signal that the body is falling. In response, it fires a burst of motor signals to the muscles, creating the twitch, and it's essentially the nervous system erring on the side of caution. Several factors make hypnic jerks more likely. Caffeine, nicotine, or late-night exercise can overstimulate the nervous system, while fatigue and stress also increase the frequency of sleep starts. Some studies suggest they may be an evolutionary leftover, once useful for preventing our ancestors from falling out of trees while resting. Despite their dramatic effect, hypnic jerks are not dangerous and don't indicate a sleep disorder in healthy individuals. However, if they are extremely frequent and disrupt rest, they may be associated with insomnia or heightened anxiety. To reduce them, practicing good sleep hygiene such as winding down before bed, limiting stimulants, and keeping a consistent sleep schedule can help. Don't you appreciate how your body protects you? Even during rest. From brain freezes to phantom pains, our bodies remind us daily that the nervous system is both powerful and quirky. What feels like a random glitch is usually a sign of biology working, sometimes in overdrive, sometimes misfiring. If you liked learning about your body's mysteries, like the video and subscribe to our channel. And remember, these aren't flaws, but a magical hidden language of the body that keeps things going.